Good evening, everyone. I welcome my organs in the house. You are all welcome.
Good evening, sir.
So in a few moments' time, we will start officially. Just give us about 1 more minute, please. In 1 minute time, inshallah, we'll start. So last week, our boss, HFS Ajayi, he did a lot of judgment to the topic, the fire safety management. In fact, there are little things we know before, but now we are getting to know more things. He told us that yesterday that fire is a chemical reaction called combustion, which involves the coming together of 3 elements. If I'm not mistaken, sir, boss. So he made mention of fuel, heat, and oxygen. So for fire to take place, 3 things have to come together, which are heat, fuel, and oxygen. In the absence of one, there won't be anything like fire. So, and fire has another 2 branches, I think prevention and preparedness. Fire safety. So, which means that in safety of fire management entirely, prevention is highly important, and at the same time, preparedness. So, prevention, preparedness, those 2 things are key factors in fire safety management. And they also last week, he also told us so you're all welcome once again. So here now I have my boss with me, the person of HFS Fire Superintendent Ajayi, who is standing in for the director of the State Fire Service today. So he was the one that also stood in for the director last week. So today we need to continue, as last week was not, a single session was not enough for the entire program. So that was why we now extended it to this week. So today we'll now be doing the concluding part. Last week, he has already told us about what fire is, how fire can happen, what can make fire to occur. And since once the fire occurs, what are the things you can do? And that last week, he also told us about the types, categories of fire. He told us about A, B, C, D, and E. So today, we'll now be continuing from where we stopped. So he will continue from there now. I will leave the floor for our HFS. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. I want to thank Almighty God for giving us this grace once again this day to depart online and meet ourselves again. This is a real privilege. It's only God that can give any human being this. Likewise, I want to thank my viewers. Thank you. The moderator just told me what most of you said about me, about this lecture last week. I'm very grateful for your comments, for your lovely comments. Thank you very much. And I also thank the moderator and the whole crew of Accurate Foundation. Thank you for this opportunity. Having said that, I want to bring greetings from my director as well, the director of State Fire and Safety Service, the person of Engineer Fatai Abidemi Adefala. After last week lecture, he called me and he did some, he appreciated what I have done, and he also put me through on how to improve more and what to also keep you with. So I want to thank him so especially his attention. He, like I said last week, wants to be here by himself, but since he noted that he has trained able hands that can handle this job, that is why the director has given me go ahead to continue today. Director, I'm thanking you so much. I know it is possible that you might be viewing us from wherever you are now. I want to thank you so much, sir. Today, my viewers at home, I want to tell you this today edition is going to be educative, informative, and interesting. So I want you to give me a listening ear so that we can enjoy ourselves to the fullest. I will recap all what we discussed last week, but it will not take much time because the moderator has already recapped the key aspect of all it to say. He has told us, he has recapped to us and let us to know what is fire. The elements that combine together, which make up the fire to occur. He has already told us. So today, continue straight away from where we stopped because we have a lot of things to touch today. We stopped at classification of fire. Am I right? That is where we stop. Classification of fire. And I told us that we have class A fire, which involve pre-burning material, such as paper, textile, plastic, rubber, furniture, etc., etc. So that is class A fire. Now, I also told us that we have class B. Class B fire is a fire ignited by flammable liquid. Flammable liquid like petrol, paraffin, diesel, paint, kerosene, and so on. Class C fire that involve gaseous gas. That is gaseous fire. Short form, class C fire is gaseous fire. Class D fire, we have class D as well. Fire that involve combustible metals like aluminum, lithium, potassium, magnesium, and etc. We have class E fire, and I also told us something about this class E. I said that it's simply an electrical fire. And I told you that it is worthy to note that in UK, it is not classified as any specific class of fire. Their opinion is that any fire triggered by electrical source must fall in the already identified class of fire. That is why in UK, class E is not specified, unlike American classification, because we see academic notes on fire safety that will tell you that classification of fire, and you have class E. So it is not wrong, but I'm telling you, it's only in American classification that you can get class E, but in UK, and where this is Nigeria, go by UK standard. And the last class is class F, which is kitchen fire. Kitchen fire. Briefly, I told you in fire safety management, the key aspect we are going to be looking at, and which we have been looking at since last week, is prevention and preparedness. Prevention and preparedness. Prevention in one aspect and preparedness in the other aspect. I've told you what brings all about fire, what comes together before the fire can start. And today, we are going to be looking at fire extinguisher. We are going to be looking at fire extinguisher. Now, fire extinguisher and the uses, how you can use it, and the different types of extinguisher that we have. That is one of the things we are going to be talking on today. because we still have other things, but I will just try as much as possible to be fast so that we can cover and finish this concluding part of the lecture. Now, what do you understand by fire extinguisher? All of us, we know what is fire extinguisher. We are familiar with it, but it's possible that we might not even know how to use it. Fire extinguisher, by my own definition, I term it as an active first aid firefighting equipment. It's an active first aid firefighting equipment, which is meant to tackle fire or fire outbreak at an incipient stage, at an early stage. So fire extinguisher is a first aid active firefighting device or equipment that is meant to fight fire, that is meant to extinguish fire at an incipient stage, at an early stage, when the fire just started. That is when fire extinguisher is useful. Because if the fire has gone out of control, fire extinguisher might not do anything. It might not be useful in that case. Because when you use a fire, when the fire just starts, and at an incipient stage or at an early stage, then you quickly use an available fire extinguisher to tackle it. It will extinguish the fire, it will fight the fire and bring it to a standstill. Because any little fire that you leave, it will leave you little. It will, yes. Any little fire that you leave will leave you little. What do I mean? You know, if a fire just occurs now, the fire that starts small, and you didn't do anything to that fire, it will degenerate to a very large fire. And that means that fire has gone out of control. So that means that when a little fire is lit, it will leave one little. It will destroy your property. It might even take life. That is what we are meant by leaving you little. That little fire, as little as it is, if you don't do anything to it, if you leave it, the fire degenerates and it will turn to a big or large fire, which can take life and property. So any little fire that you leave will leave you little. Fire extinguisher, we have categories of fire extinguisher. We have portable fire extinguisher. We have wheel or cart mounted extinguisher. Those wheel or cart mounted extinguisher are those ones that we put on carts. Fire extinguisher. We are going to be talking about those portable. We are going to be concerned with the portable fire extinguisher. That will be our major concern today. This is it. This is portable extinguisher. Different type. We have water fire extinguisher. We have DCP. DCP is dry chemical powder extinguisher. We have foam extinguisher. We have halon extinguisher. And we have carbon dioxide, otherwise known as CO2 extinguisher. But we will talk mainly on four today, which is the DCP. Those are the extinguishers we are going to be talking. We'll dwell much on them today. The foam, the water, the CO2, and the DCP. We are going to be talking on those ones today. And I told you that what do I want you to know on all these things? It's just I want to tell you how to use this thing. How to use the extinguisher. That's what we are concerned with this moment. You know, fire extinguisher, whether DCP, CO2, the water, the foam, and the wet type, different types. But in Nigeria, we mainly use 4 types of extinguisher now, which is the water, the foam, the DCP, and the carbon dioxide, which is CO2 types of extinguisher. So we are those are the main 4 types of extinguisher that we use now, mainly in Nigeria. So those 4, they have this similar operation, usage operation, and that is what we are going to be telling ourselves today. Even car extinguisher is a DCP types category of extinguisher. Car extinguisher. So, and we have different sizes. The sizes is measured in kg. We have 1 kg, 2 kg, 3 kg, like CO2, we have 3 kg, 5 kg, and so on. So those are just the size. When we talk about the sizes, our concern today is how to use it. The operational know-how of using fire extinguisher is our concern. So anywhere you lay your hands on any fire extinguisher, I want you to take note of something, and that is part of the extinguisher. We have, in the part of the extinguisher, we have things like gauge. For in case of CO2 extinguisher, it doesn't have gauge, but like foam extinguisher, DCP, water, those ones comes with gauge. So what does the gauge do? The gauge will tell you maybe the extinguisher is still functional or not. Maybe it has been used or not. Maybe it's in good condition or not. So when you see the gauge, when you see any fire extinguisher, the first thing you should check is the tampered seal. Tampered seal. The tampered seal and the gauge. Those are the 2 main things you should check whenever you find any fire extinguisher, whether a car extinguisher or anywhere that you can see any extinguisher. What you should check first is the tampered seal and the gauge. The tampered seal, just as the name, it will tell you maybe the extinguisher has been tampered with. Because sometimes, as a fire service, when we go out for inspection, because we do inspection, sometimes when we get to a factory, we get to a business, we get to anywhere that they use fire extinguisher, we want to inspect, maybe their fire extinguisher is still intact. We will discover that some of these fire extinguishers, they have not been used, but the tamper seal has been tampered with. The gauge might still be intact. If the gauge is still intact, it means that the fire extinguisher has not been used. But the gauge might be intact, but the extinguisher has been tampered with. That means the tampered seal has been removed. If the tampered seal has been removed, it tells us that this fire extinguisher has been tampered with. And any fire extinguisher that has been tampered with, that the seal has been removed. We fire service, we believe that the fire extinguisher is not in good order. Whether the gauge is still intact or not, we believe that it is not intact again. The fire extinguisher is not in good order again. So you check for tamper seal, you check for the gauge. If the gauge, this is how to know again that this fire extinguisher is still functioning, it's in good order or not. You will see the gauge, it will be in the green level of the gauge. When you check the gauge, the inner side of the gauge is painted with red. Painted with red with some numbers. Then you see a particular portion painted with green. So when the fire extinguisher is still accurate with the green line, it means that the fire extinguisher is in good order. But if it falls below the green line, which is the gauge, or it falls below or beyond the gauge line, which is the green side, it means the fire extinguisher is not in order. In that case, the person, the owner, is expected to call the attention of the fire service, the expert, the safety expert, to go and service the extinguisher. Now, I don't want to take much of our time on it because we still have a lot, as I've said. How do we use extinguisher? How do we use them? Any types of extinguisher at all. The way we use fire extinguisher is very simple, as ABC. We have an acronym for it, which we use in operating the fire extinguisher whenever there's a call or there's a call to use it. The acronym is PASS. The acronym is PASS, and PASS stands for, PASS is spelled P-A-S-S. P-A-S-S. That is the acronym, PASS. So PASS is the operational mode that we use to operate our fire extinguisher. Now, the first P stands for pull. You pull the pin. You know, every extinguisher comes with a safety pin. Assuming this lecture is a physical lecture now, I would love to show you all those physical peripheral of that makes the components that make up the fire extinguisher. So in the fire extinguisher, we have a pin. So the P stands for pull out the pin. So when you pull out the pin, then the next thing, let me just rush through it, then I'll come back for the explanation. The first P stands for pull out the pin. Then the A stands for aim at the base of the fire. The A is there, is aim. Aim. What are you aiming? The base of the fire. Then the first letter S stands for squeeze. Squeeze. If I don't want to use the word squeeze, I might use press together. That's the meaning of the squeeze. That's what the letter stands for. Squeeze. That is the first letter S. Then the last letter S means sweep. 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 Now, let me now start the real explanation. Now, I've told you that the first P stands for pull out the pin. The A there stands for aim at the base of the fire. Then the first S means squeeze, while the last S means sweep. Now, when you find an extinguisher, if you don't pull out the pin first, it will not give you the avenue or the opportunity to press together, to squeeze. And it is when you press this fire extinguisher, when you press the lever together, that is when the fire extinguisher will discharge the content inside the cylinder. So the first thing you do when you lay your hand on any fire extinguisher to use is to do what? To pull out the pin. There's a pin on it, you pull it out. After pulling it out, it will give you the opportunity to press it together so that it will discharge the content. Now, the A stands for aim at the base of the fire. When we say the base of the fire, what we are saying is that where the fire starts from. Now, I will give you some example now. We have witnessed, as a firefighter, I have witnessed a lot of people that are using fire extinguisher wrongly, particularly when their house is in fire or their vehicles is caught fire. When they park the vehicle, now brought down their extinguisher, maybe it's working or not. Let's say this one is working now. When they brought it out, instead of them to locate the exact place that the fire is burning from, or where the fire starts from, that is what we mean by the base. While they will be discharging the fire extinguisher with them, they will be discharging it to the smoke. And with that, they will just waste the content of the fire extinguisher and it will not do anything. So whenever you want to use a fire extinguisher, after you might have pulled out the pin, you aim the base of the fire, where the fire is coming from. That thing that is burning, that is what you should aim. Don't aim the smoke or any other thing. Aim what is burning. That's what we find at the base, where the fire is coming from. When you aim that place, then the next thing is to squeeze the lever of the fire extinguisher, the lever, the handle. You know, that handle, you see it, most of us know it. So you just squeeze it, you press it together. That's the first letter S. When you press it, it will give room for the content of the cylinder to be discharged. Then, when the content of the cylinder is discharged now, then you now sweep side to side. The sweeping means just like where we sweep. You sweep from right and to the left direction. But in that, you mind the wind direction. You know, because when the fire is burning, the fire will be burning towards the wind's direction. So you don't go and stay where the wind direction goes. If you go and it is dangerous to stay close to a fire. You have to move backward to a fire at least 6 feet, or you just keep a safety distance. So I don't want to give a specific meter now, but you just move at least 6 feet is okay, or a safe distance. Don't move too nearer to the fire. That is how to use fire extinguisher. Don't forget, I say the first letter, the acronym is PASS, P-A-S-S. The first letter say pull out the pin. The second letter, which is aim the base. The third letter, S, you sweep. Then the last letter, squeeze. You squeeze the third letter. Then the fourth letter, which is sweep. You sweep side by side. That is just how to use a fire extinguisher. I know now that wherever you have the course, we are not praying for fire outbreak. But all this we are saying, you might help others. We have witnessed, particularly on the roadside, some vehicle will be burning. Even the owner of those vehicles will not even know how to use the fire extinguisher. So if you know, or if you have all this technical know-how, if you have all this knowledge with you, then you'll be able to save yourself and save others as well. That is the purpose of this fire safety management lecture, because we want you to be acquainted with knowledge, so that that knowledge will save you, save your property, and you save others as well. Now, let us quickly go to causes of fire outbreak. Causes of fire outbreak. This is another very important discourse that we need to let us know. Causes of fire outbreak. If I may ask you now that you should give me some simple causes of fire outbreak. I know all of us will have something to say. Yes, I believe that we have something to say. He has to give me some causes of fire outbreak. But in my own research, I've been able to classify these causes. I've grouped them into 3. So whichever cause you want to note, or you know by yourself that whichever thing that you think that can cause fire, I've grouped them under these subheadings. Now, I say that holistically, causes of fire outbreak can be viewed and grouped into 3 related parts, which shall be discussed in this course of presentation. Now, we have just 3 causes. Any other causes falls under these sub-3 headings. Number 1, we have natural causes of fire outbreak. Natural causes of fire outbreak. That is number 1. So, number 2, we have acid. Then the last one is carelessness. Carelessness. These are just 3 groups. So if anybody asks you now, what are the causes of fire outbreak? Anything you want to say at all, before you start measuring this, and this, just group them into 3. I say number one is natural causes. Natural causes may include by accident. Yes. Accident is something that is beyond human being control. It can, if anything happen by accident, beyond human being control. Example of is volcano eruption, thunderstroke. Yes, when all those things happen, they can cause fire outbreak. Those are natural causes. Then another thing is arson. Arson is known to be a willful or deliberate act of setting out a fire. I say arson is a willful or deliberate act of setting a fire with an intention to cause damage to a person or property. You know, when a fire outbreak is being caused with a willful, something that you do willingly, that's a willful act. So I will give you an example now. We have been hearing that in some places, this office was set on fire, maybe an account office or the government office or the private firm office. The account office was set on fire. By the time fire service begin with the police and other security, by the time we begin our investigation, we will know that this fire outbreak is not caused by accident. It doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen by carelessness or negligence. No, it is caused by a willful act. So when any fire outbreak or when a fire is set on, or when a fire happens with an intention, a deliberate act to cause damage to a person or to a property, maybe to oneself or to another thing or to another person, that is what we know as an arson. So the fire outbreak can be caused by arson, but arson all over the world and in Nigeria as well is a punishable act. It's an offensible act. So anybody that tries this, such person will be prosecuted by law enforcement agency, the court of law. So arson is an offensive act. Another thing that causes fire outbreak is carelessness. You know, if something is 100%, let's say causes of fire outbreak in 100% in totality, carelessness takes about 75%. In the causes of fire outbreak, in that circle of 100%, carelessness takes about 75%. While accident or natural cause take just about 15%. Then arson takes 10%. So, in other words, what I'm saying is that if carelessness as the causes of fire outbreak can take 70%, that means carelessness is it's an ugly thing that everybody must deal with. It takes the larger percent of the causes of fire outbreak out of the three. You know, we have natural causes or accident, then we have arson. Then the major cause of fire outbreak can be viewed from the angle of carelessness. Carelessness borders to negligence. I don't care behavior or attitude. Switching on of electrical gadgets while they are not in use or while you are leaving your home. Those attitude falls under carelessness. So you look at yourself, watch yourself. If there is any fire outbreak, what causes such fire outbreak? Is it an arson? Is it caused by an arson? If it is caused by an arson, you know that it's a willful act. This fire outbreak, was it caused by a natural cause or an accident? Or was it caused by carelessness or negligence? So when any fire outbreak occurs, check what causes it, the primary cause of the fire outbreak. Check it. Is either it falls under natural cause or accident, or it falls under arson, or it falls under carelessness. And I told you that carelessness takes about 75% of the causes of fire outbreak. Now, wrong wiring. I want to ask a question now. When you are unattended cooking, when you are cooking in your kitchen and you refuse to attend to the cooking as at when due, maybe because you are watching African Magic or you are doing something, if there's a fire outbreak as a result of that carelessness or negligence, what category are we going to classify such cause of fire outbreak? We are going to classify it under carelessness, because if you are not careless, you will not leave your cooking unattended to. Wrong wiring. Those are I'm telling you the causes of fire outbreak. And we're going to dwell much on carelessness and negligence because they take a larger percent of fire outbreak. Wrong wiring. All of us, we have wiring in our various home offices and wherever you can find human being that you want to enjoy life. There must be wiring in your house. If you don't consult or engage the service of professional in doing all these things for you, at the end of the day, it will cause the story that touches the heart. So, engaging the service of quacks in carrying out electrical wiring of your offices, your house, you are waiting for a fire outbreak. That is just the truth of the matter. Some people, when they want to meter their house, when they have gotten the meter from the electrical distribution company now, any one of them, they have gotten their meter, they want to install the meter. Instead of them to allow an expert in such area to fix the meter for them, they will go and engage the service of a quack to come and fix the meter. Not only meter now, any other electrical device. What I'm saying in essence is that please don't engage in the service of quacks. Consult professionals for electrical appliances or wiring, what have you, that you want to fix in your home. They are very, very important because a little mistake can cause fire outbreak. And when such thing occur, we will term it as a result of your negligence or your carelessness. Overloading of sockets. No, this is a persistent problem, particularly in this our clan, where we lack proper, what's it called, enough electricity, power supply. You know, people, they want to go and charge their phone, want to go and charge. When they just go to the charging points, they jam-pack the socket, the distribution socket or the extension socket is not good. When you see such act, please correct it because it can cause electrical fire. It can cause the when there is a spark already, from that spark, don't forget it will bring heat. Those things that were plugged, they are all fuel. And air is everywhere, oxygen. So that means that those three things they have combined, fire can occur. When children are playing with matches, children, please don't allow little children to play with matches, lighter or any other naked fire, because they can drop it indiscriminately, which can lead to fire. One other thing that causes fire as a result of carelessness or negligence is indiscriminate bush burning. We are going to Harmattan season now. You see some smoker that they just smoke anyhow. They might drop the essence of their smoke or the leftover of their smoke in the bush, and they will be going, maybe they are going on their way. It will cause fire outbreak. And we may say that when there's a bushfire, it destroys our natural reserve. It destroys many things, properties. As a fire service in Ogun State here, we have many calls across the state. You know, we are being called upon to go and fight bushfire that are threatening human safety. And I beg of you, every one of us, please, let us endeavor to pass across this knowledge that we have, particularly to smokers. When they are smoking, please, they should not just drop the leftover of their smoke indiscriminately on the road or at any bush. It causes fire outbreak. When you are smoking while on bed, you might sleep as a result. So what happens to that in that case? What happens? So I can begin to give example of carelessness and negligence as a result of outbreak from now to tomorrow. We have many examples. We have many examples of carelessness as a result of fire outbreak. Today again, I'm going to be telling us I'm going to be dishing out one important information to us about gas cylinder. Because every one of us now, we are now in the computer age, jet age. We have passed the era of stove or the traditional wood fire. Every home now, particularly in the metropolis, in the urban area of Nigeria, we have been using cylinders, LPG cylinders. LPG is liquefied petroleum gas. That is domestic gas that we use in our various homes. That gas cylinder, as it is a time bomb. If we don't take care of it, or we don't know some things that we needed to know about gas cylinder. Now, there are various theories that tells us that your gas cylinders, the expiration of your gas cylinders is this and that. Authoritatively, I want to tell you some things about your gas cylinder that you should know today. When you have your cylinder, please don't buy a refurbished cylinder. Make sure you buy new cylinder. Don't buy a refurbished cylinder. And any cylinder that you want to buy, make sure that the logo of Standard Organization of Nigeria is imprinted on the cylinder. Then some will tell you that your cylinder can use up to 30 years, 20 years, 4 years, 5 years. According to the Standard Organization of Nigeria, the LPG steel cylinder lifespan differ from country to country. But in Nigeria, the lifespan of a LPG cylinder is 15 years. 15 good years, starting from the day of manufacturing. So if you buy a cylinder, the cylinder you have bought that has the mark of Standard Organization of Nigeria imprinted on it can be used for a lifespan of 15 years, 15 good years. Starting from the day of manufacturing. So, for example, now if you buy a cylinder this 2023, just calculate 15 years from this 2023. That is when the cylinder will expire. According to, I'm telling you the standard that has been allotted to by the SON, Standard Organization of Nigeria. Because there are very theories on how the expiration of gas cylinder. Just note that those ones, they are not relevant to Standard Organization of Nigeria, National Industrial Safety, NIS. Caps 18 of 2013. So the lifespan of LPG cylinder in Nigeria is 15 years, starting from the day of manufacture. How do you know? The information of the year of manufacturing of LPG cylinder can be found on the front, the handle, or the stand base of the LPG cylinder. You check the stand base or the front, which we know as the handle of your cylinder. Check it. It will be printed in the stand base of the cylinder, the manufacturing date or year. Specifically, if it is manufactured in 2006, 2013, 2014, 2022, it will be there. So any other time that you now bought the cylinder now, don't start calculating the year from the day you purchase the cylinder. No. Go and start calculating the cylinder from the day of manufacturing, which will be written only on the front, the handle, or the stand base of the LPG cylinder. But on timely basis, according to Standard Organization of Nigeria, SON, it is expected of everyone to requalify LPG cylinder every 5 years. But it's unfortunate that in Nigeria, we only have gas plant where we will refill our gas, our LPG gas cylinder, but we don't have the qualification plant in Nigeria. So we might have, maybe in Abuja, we have some few towns that has the facility, like in Abuja, Lagos, but like this time in Ogun State, I don't think, maybe I don't know, but I don't think we have a qualification plant. What we have is gas plant, refilling plants that we all over, that spread across the nooks and crannies of Nigeria, but we don't have a qualification center. What does the qualification center does? You know, when you use your gas cylinder, when you have exhausted the gas cylinder, you take it there to go and refill. With that, we ought to have a plant that you take our cylinder to for a safety test. A safety test. What would they do? They will take this gas cylinder from you, they will check it. It's just that when a woman goes to an hospital for a checkup, when you go to an hospital for a checkup, the doctor will check you, will check everything, your liver, your this thing, your this and that, to know maybe they are still okay or not, they are still in good shape or not. So that is what requalification plant ought to be doing for us in this nation. But it's unfortunate that we are yet to be there. But I know with this government in place now, they have told us that they have come to renew our hope, and I know that very soon we'll get there. So you yourself, what I want to advise you to do is to requalify your gas cylinder on timely basis. Don't wait for anyone to do that for you. What do I mean? Time to time, make sure that you don't refill your gas cylinder beyond the capacity that it can take. For example, if your gas cylinder is 4 kg, 3 kg, 12.5 kg, some people will say that, I want to go and refill this 12.5 kg at a gas refilling plant. And they don't want to waste money twice. They don't want to be coming there maybe from time to time. They may even refill beyond the stipulated capacity which the gas cylinder can carry. If you do that, it will turn on you, it will cause havoc. We have the knowledge that those people that are selling all those gas retailers, that we do go to go and refill our LPG gas cylinder in our various areas and streets. The cylinder they take to gas plants can only take 50 kg, some 25 kg. But we have had some scenario whereby those, it's not every one of them, particularly those ones that are not members, that are not professional in that line, in that business. Those quack in that business avenue, those are people that does that. They may even refill beyond the 50 kg, which is stipulated for their cylinders. Please don't refill beyond the stipulated kg capacity of your gas cylinder. Please note that is very important. Then some will not check. I'm telling you the process of requalificating your gas cylinder. Check the hose. Some of us that are using cylinder and the 12.5 kg cylinder, we run hose to the burner. Check that hose time to time for leakage. Check it time to time for leakage. I know that very soon we'll come to the end of this lecture, but you might still have something that you want to ask us. You can do. Before that, before we leave that aspect, I want to talk on fire blankets. Fire blanket is a retardant fabric material that has been designed to withstand the pressure of fire. So this blanket, it is used to smother fire. What do we mean by smother? We have told us the previous edition of this lecture that smothering simply entails that eliminating oxygen from fire. When you eliminate oxygen from fire, the fire triangle will collapse. That is a smothering method of extinguishing fire. So whenever you want to use fire blankets now, what you do, you are trying to smother the fire. That is what you do to the fire. So in this case, it is advisable for every one of us to have a fire blanket in our various kitchen. Not only kitchen alone, but it's mainly used in the kitchen and some other places. I have seen a whole vehicle that is on fire, and a large fire blanket was used to wrap the vehicle that was burning. And to your surprise, when the fire blanket was removed from that vehicle, the fire has been extinguished. That tells you that the work of fire blanket is to smother the fire by removing, shutting out the oxygen, which cause the fire to collapse. So maybe you are frying something in your kitchen and it caught fire. Don't be panicked. What you should do, even if you can't lay your hands on fire extinguisher, because it is advisable for every home to have at least 1 to 2 fire extinguisher. So if you don't have it, I'm telling you today that please make sure you have it in your home. You might say that we all know that fire is not a daily occurrence, particularly in this our clan. But the truth of the matter is that it occurs, it happens. It happens. That's just that. I want you to take note of that. So it is expected of you to have at least 1 to 2 fire extinguishers in your home. Now, and you also have a fire blanket in your home. Please, if you don't have, contact your fire service, firefighter, or any other safety professional for you to get it. We are still dealing with home, kitchen, and office fire safety. Now, I'll be telling you just to rush through some things that you need to do, because all those things, they are preparing you. No, don't forget that I will say that the aspect of this lecture, which is all about fire safety management. And fire safety management encompasses prevention and preparedness. All these things we are attending ourselves, we are attending us in order for us to prepare and to prevent and to prepare us in case of a likely fire outbreak. Now, home, office, and kitchen fire safety. I'll take those three together because they are synonymous. Do not rely on extension cord if wiring improvements are needed. And take note to not to overload your circuits. It is also important to install fire suppression system and fire detectors. We have fire detectors, fire alarm, and fire suppression systems. All these things, they are there for us. Those devices or equipment, they are there for us to either prevent fire or to alert us or to suppress fire when it occurs. Now, it is expected of every one of us in our living home, in our offices, it is expected of us to have like smoke detectors, flame detectors, and fire detectors. What is flame or smoke detector? Just as their name goes. You know, many a times, before a fire can occur, you first see a smoke. That is many a times, particularly home fire. So when such occur, if you have a smoke detector, it will sound an alarm. By doing that, it will alert you that something is going on, which is, it will alert you that fire outbreak is about to occur, because the device will detect the smoke and it will swing into action by bringing into your hearing or to the hearing of the dwellers of the house or of that particular office. Maybe in the night you have slept, or somebody that has rooms, you have slept in your own living room and you have a smoke detector in your sitting room. Then there's a smoke which can result into fire in that your sitting room. If you have a smoke detector there and you have slept, don't forget, maybe you have slept in your own room, the smoke will trigger the fire, the smoke detector to ring, and an alarm will be blown so that you that you are in your room, you will hear that something is happening. It will wake you up and you quickly do what? To find a solution to the whatever that have caused the smoke. That is the work that all those detector does. We have flame detector. You know, when the fire has occurred now, it will trigger the detector in your room. All those things, they are just to call our attention that something is happening. That is it. So make sure you have detectors, fire alarm, and fire suppression systems in your homes and your offices. Fire suppression like sprinkler, we have them. When there is fire outbreak, even before anyone comes to come and extinguish the fire suppression like sprinkler, we swung into action when we start suppressing the fire with whatever media that the fire suppression, the sprinkler is being installed with, maybe water or DCP or CO2 media. So now another thing is, when you are going out or when you are going out of your home or your office, please endeavor to turn on electrical equipment and devices. Repair and clean up flammable liquid. When there's a flammable liquid that pours anywhere, make sure you clear it. And please, there's what we call, I want you to develop what we call the consciousness of neighborliness. The consciousness of neighborliness is very, very important, because as a firefighter, we have a course to go and extinguish a fire in some homes, that the occupier of those houses, they were not around when the fire starts. It was their neighbor, people that are living close to them, that seized the fire. It shows that that particular fire has gone out of control before the neighbor can see. So, but many of us that are living in our environment, in a particular environment, in our street, please let us develop the consciousness of neighborliness, particularly in this our environment, so that if in case such a thing happen and you are not around, your neighbor will quickly alert the fire service or whoever that is around. They will quickly tackle the fire even before they will call on you. Before you return home back, they will have making sure that they suppress the fire or to even completely eliminate the fire before you now come around. But if you are not friendly with your neighbor, this thing that I'm telling you is very, very important, because we have had some situation whereby a fire break will be happening in a particular home. The neighbors will just look away. They will not even call you to come home quickly, to come and find solution to it. They will look away because there's no mutual relationship, there's no a rapport, what we can call neighborliness consciousness between you and your neighbor. There's a popular musician in this Yoruba land in Nigeria that sang a song, and I'm going to sing that song now. It says, Ọpẹ́lọpẹ́ Òyìnbó onílé kejì, our Ebenezer Obey sang that song. That Ọpẹ́lọpẹ́ Òyìnbó onílé kejì, ló kígbe fire before the fire comes. So if that shows the importance of neighborliness. So if you have developed a good relationship with your neighbor, if anything happens in your home, they will quickly alert you, and even alert, they will even try to extinguish fire before your arrival, because that's what we do witness as a firefighters. Before, when they call us for a fire break, before we get to the scene, before we get to the home, the neighbor, they would have been trying their best as much as they could to extinguish the fire. So that's very, very important. Other kitchens, fire safety before we go. Please, I have told you earlier that we should not rely on refurbished gas cylinder. Don't refill your cylinder beyond the stipulated capacity. Now, when your clothes catches fire, what do you do? Maybe you are in a particular place, mistakenly your clothes catches fire. What do you do? In that case, what you should do is just to stop. Then when you stop, you drop. By drop, I mean you just drop to the ground. Then when you drop to the ground, you roll. You roll. That is just 3 steps you should take when your clothes catches fire. Because if you are trying to run away with it, more oxygen will be coming as you are running. That's air. So it will be expanding the scope of the fire. That is why it's not advisable that you should run with it. What you should do is just you stop. When you stop, you drop to the ground, then you roll. By rolling, you are smothering the fire, and it will die a natural death. I have just 15 minutes, but I must tell you this before we go. Wherever you might view us from, in Nigeria, all over the world, I want to tell you, if you are in Nigeria and you need the service of fire service or any other emergency responders, please call on 112. Call on 112 anywhere you are in Nigeria, and you need the service of emergency responders, be it fire service, police, and what have you. Call 112. Anywhere you might be in Nigeria, you will be attended to. This is a toll-free number that was provided by National Communication Commission, NCC. So it's a toll-free number. When you are you need an emergency responder like fire, police, ambulance, just call the number 112. If you are in Ogun State, call the number. And I also want to give you the number of stations now, like the Ogun State Fire Service control room, our headquarters. I will give you the number for those of us that are in Ogun State, because this fire safety is coming from the Ogun State Fire and Safety Service headquarters here in Abeokuta. So I will give you the number of our control room, our headquarters control room. The number is 080 35 69 2904. I will repeat again. The number of Ogun State Fire and Safety Service headquarters control room 080 35 69 29 04. That's the number of our headquarters control room for those of us that are in Ogun State. And wherever you may be being us from, I told you that you call 112 if you need any emergency responding agencies such as fire service and everyone. Thank you for your time and your attention. Thank you very much. I don't know if anybody has a question for us, if there's any area of your interest that you still want us to do justice to, or that you felt that we have not dealt with, please kindly let us know so that we can do it before we call it a day.
Thank you very much, sir. HFS Ajayi, really appreciate what you have been telling us since morning, since last week. But this has already opened our eyes to a lot of things. There are so many things that are hidden to us, but now we are getting to know some. Thanks for this lecture once again. Please, for our listeners at home, if you have any question, kindly raise your hand or type the question into the chat section. Then we'll read it out to the official. Kindly subscribe by raising your hand or type the question in the chat section, please. So Adeleye Adetunji, please, you can unmute and ask your question, please.
Okay.
Adeleye Adetunji, please, you have the floor. Kindly unmute and ask your question.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Thank you very much for this opportunity and enlightenment. HFS Ajayi, and many thanks to Accurate. It's really something that it's a rare privilege to have people, facilitate things like this, and people also get educated from it. So, quick one. I have a question. You said we have majorly. You said we have these extinguishing elements that you will want to major on, which is the foam, CO2, DCP, and water. So I would like to ask, is sand not an extinguisher? So, and the second question I have is, we have about 6 classes of fire. Although you said class E, if I'm not mistaken, is it class E or class D fire? You said according
class
to
E
UK,
is electrical fire.
Class E, yeah, according to UK, it's not
classified under
that class E, yeah, that it's under any other, yeah. So
yes,
my question is exactly. So my question is, are there what is it called? Based on these classes of fire, are there different extinguishing method, you understand, to extinguish this fire? Because if you're saying like LPG, that is it the flammable
yes,
class of fire? Yeah.
yes.
So that, are you not telling me that we can have water quench that, we can have DCP quench that, that class of fire? So what I'm just asking is, are there extinguishing methods or extinguishing elements, you understand, to quench these classes of fire? Or do we have general, all these same extinguishing elements, quench the same, different classes of fire? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. You have asked a very brilliant question, very, very brilliant question, because all of this also have been discussed because of our discussion, but it's just that we cannot exhaust all what we have. Now, these classes of fire has a specific fire extinguisher that works perfectly for them, that works effectively for them. For example, class A fire, which involve ordinary combustible materials like paper, wood, and what have you, textile, cloth. The perfect fire extinguisher for them is just water fire extinguisher. So if wood is burning now, or cloth, plastic, paper, such things, just lay your hands on water extinguisher or any water, pour it on it, it will extinguish such class of fire. Now, for class B, which we refer to as liquid, flammable liquid fire, like petrol, diesel, kerosene, paint, such fire, water will not extinguish such fire effectively. The best extinguisher for such can either be DCP. DCP, that is dry chemical powder. So if such thing is burning, the type of extinguisher that you can use, in some kinds of fire, you might use more than one type. You might use more than one type of extinguisher to tackle such fire, such class of fire. And I want to say it again now, that such class like class B, foam extinguisher is the best. Foam is the best. Foam extinguisher. Then you can use powder as well. Powder, but the best one is foam. Then when you have class C, CO2 is very effective in such class. So in such class like gaseous fire now, don't go and put water. If you put water, it will not do anything. You just be wasting your time. So, but if you quickly get on CO2, it will work on class C effectively. And I told you that you might have two types that may work for, even more than two types that may work for a particular class. So the class C now, if you have your CO2, your DCP, it goes. Now for like class K, maybe I will stop there because of our time, so that to answer some other questions. Like class K now, we call it kitchen fire. Kitchen fire, we recommend we recommend CO2 extinguisher. And why do we do that? It's because this is kitchen now. We will have food. That is a primary characteristic of a kitchen. Now, if you use other classes or other class of fire extinguisher in the kitchen, like DCP, like foam, it's not that they are not going to work for that type of fire. But as a fire safety expert, we don't recommend people to use foam or DCP in the kitchen. We recommend CO2, carbon dioxide extinguisher. Why that? Is because if you use any other class of fire extinguisher, it's not that they are not going to extinguish the fire, but they will contaminate the food. Contamination is the primary aim of telling people not to use foam or dissipate in their kitchen, in kitchen fire. So we recommend mainly now on CO2. But some people might tell you that you cannot use dissipate in the kitchen, you cannot use foam in the kitchen. The reason why it's not recommended to use in the kitchen is because it will contaminate the food. It's not that it's not going to extinguish the fire, but it will contaminate the food. But if you use foam, if you use CO2, it will not contaminate your food and it will still extinguish the fire. So it does two purposes. It will extinguish the fire, and if it touches your food, it will not contaminate it. So the best that you can use when it comes to kitchen fire is CO2. Thank you. You are talking, second question is about sand. Yes. If you have been to filling stations, you will see fire buckets. What did they put inside? Is sand. That sand is a means of improvising. Yes, it's just to improvise. That if you don't see this, you use this. We are trying to use that sand as a means of extinguishing fire through smoldering methods. What do you mean by smoldering method? I've told you about smoldering method if you are following us from the beginning. Shutting out air. So if there is fire outbreak and you pour sand on the particular fire, the sand, you pour sand, the sand will cover the fire. It will not allow oxygen to penetrate, to inflate the fire again, which will, if ordinarily if the oxygen continue to come into the fire, it will increase the chances of fire burning more. But if you have pour sand on it, it will blanket the fire. It will not allow more oxygen to come into contact with the fire, which will naturally short, which will rather collapse the fire. That is work of the sand. But now, you cannot say you want to go and use sand in your kitchen to stop a fire there. It will spoil your food for you. Instead of using sand in your kitchen, why can't you get a CO2 fire extinguisher? That is just it. Thank you very much. Any other question?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that response. So we have Elmos 24. You have a question, please. You can unmute and ask your question, sir.
Hello.
Elmos 24.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. I can hear you here loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Ajayi, thank you very much for this lecture. It has been very, very insightful, very, very educating. I think I must give this to Accurate for this amazing preventive measures that we have highlighted. Now, there is something, this lecture actually came in at the right time, because just recently, now, even at the moment, yesterday and today, there is a fire, electric pole in my neighborhood that has been sparking for the past 3 weeks. We made video of it and sent to NEPA. They are yet to come and fix it. The sparking is getting worse and worse every day. That's been like that for 3 weeks. So what do we do? What are the measures we can apply to prevent a disaster, especially after we have reported to the appropriate authorities and they have been negligent in their responsibility? What do we do next? Thank you very much, sir.
Now, in such a case that a certain electrical pole usually causes spark in your neighborhood, which might eventually result into fire, might even cause damage in your homes. Now, this is what you can do. Prevention, they say, is better than cure. And it is very safer to be safe than sorry. If you have been calling the attention of the electrical distribution company Like for instance, in this Ogun State now, we have the IPDC. If they have been calling their attention for such thing, to keep on calling them to come and do the needful. And if they refuse to do the needful, please don't wait for them. The community should do the needful by themselves. They shouldn't wait for maybe government or the IBDC or any electrical distribution company to come and fix such thing for them. They should do it by themselves in order to prevent hazard in their neighborhood. Because if it happens in their neighborhood, maybe one of their house caught fire, there is no amount of money or compensation or they will give them, or government might give them to them that will be that will quantify what they have lost. So my advice to such community is to do the needful by themselves. They should not rely on government or any electrical distribution company to come and fix the problem, because it's a problem. It's an identified problem. Electrical pole. It's an identified problem. So they should come and fix it and find a solution to it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mrs. Akinloye Grace, you can unmute and ask a question. Akinloye Grace, you have the floor.
Hello, I don't have any question because I didn't start from the beginning. But thank you so much for this insightful presentation. God bless you, sir. Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, sir. I don't have any question really, but it seems that you show some numbers that we can call if you have any issues with fire outbreak or all that. But I asked accurate that you didn't ask you didn't add for this thing Ibadan. Like for Ibadan people, we living in Ibadan, that you didn't give us any numbers that we can call.
Now, thank you very much, ma'am. That is why Nigerian government, the National Communication Commission, NCC, they have made available a toll-free number to every citizen of this Nigeria, irrespective of wherever you may be. 112. So if there's a fire emergency, it's not even only fire emergency, any other issue that warrants the service of maybe a road safety, police, army, any other security or safety agency, just dial 112. Someone will pick the number and they will attend to your needs.
Okay, sir.
So if I'm not giving you a direct line of on your state fire service, or so the 112 covers that, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
But I'm also promising you that get back to the facilitator of this program, and maybe by tomorrow, I'll give you the fire service number of your state.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Editor to Lagos State. So everyone that is listening to us from Lagos, I will do that tomorrow. Even this night, I will send the number to the facilitator of this lecture, man, and he will get back to us.
Thank you very much, sir. My own questions here. You said there are some professionals among these gas refilling plants. How do you know one is goes to all these plants? How do you know where you are seeing that?
Now, to know the safest place to refill your gas, LPG gas cylinder, it's very simple. But we have many of them in the nooks and crannies of Nigeria. But any place, as you are going to a gas plant, by the time you get to the environment, if you notice that this place I'm going is not safe, look at the environment. Are there people that are selling other things, or that are doing other business that can cause fire outbreak. Now, if the environment is not safe, but if someone, for example, now, if you have a gas plant, then you now have someone that is frying akara, maybe in the front, direct opposite of the gas plant. Such gas plant, or is someone that is frying roasted plantain. Please, don't go to a gas plant that expose this environment to where they can to a naked fire. So if you see a gas plant, if you get to the environment of a gas plant and you just watch the environment and you could see a place that a naked fire can be seen, maybe through someone that is roasting akara or roasted plantain, that's a naked fire, visible naked fire. Don't refill your gas plant in such environment, in such gas plant. Go to elsewhere. Even such gas plant, as we are in Ogun State, we can't license such gas plant. You can't see our fire notice board in such gas plants there in Ogun State because we don't license such gas plants. So, but for you, that is just that's very important for you. And if you see a gas plant that doesn't have fire extinguisher installed in their dispensing, in their dispenser, by the side of, if there is no fire extinguisher beside their dispenser, please don't refill in the place. Because if it happens, if there is no fire extinguisher to tackle it at the dispense stage, it will cause multiple havoc. So those are those things that you can note. That this gas plant, is it safe for me to refill here? Maybe you have refilled them once and you notice such things. Please, and you can't find, especially in such gas plants, you can't find even water sprinkler in their gas cylinder. Please don't go back to go and refill. And any gas station that cannot boldly enough to tell you that this LPG gas cylinder that you brought for refilling is not good again. They are not your friend. They just want to make money from you. Because we know some, for example, in this Abeokuta now, we know some gas plant. When you take a faulty cylinder to them, they may even seize it. Or they will tell you that, please, go and change this, go and change it, go and change it. They may advise you that. But if you see a gas plant that does not do that for you, that all they are interested is to make money from you, please don't go back there to go and refill. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. The second question here is this. The storage of cylinder in the car. Maybe while I'm going to work, I want to refill my cylinder. Then I put the cylinder in the car. I'll park my car when I get to the office. Or maybe I will refill it in the morning before going to the office. Storage of that cylinder, maybe use that gas in the car.
Storing a gas cylinder in the car, not only the car now, any enclosed environment, it's not good to be store our gas cylinder in the car or in any enclosed environment, because it's not good for a gas cylinder to be exposed to excessive heat. If a gas cylinder should be exposed to an excessive heat, it leads to explosion. So if you are going to work and you want to refill your gas cylinder when you are coming back, what you should do is that when you take your gas cylinder to your office, remove it from your boot. Because that's where we do put it most time, at the boot of our vehicles. Remove it from the boot, go and put it in a place that is safe. So don't let it remain in your boot to the close of the day before you now take it to the filling plant. It is not good for a gas cylinder to be exposed to an excessive heat. Please.
Thank you, sir. Another one is this. Whenever you go to the police station, they will tell you cannot make call here, move back. Oh, no phones, no this. Has there been any recorded case whereby somebody and he is now fired? That's
now fire safety worldwide. Why it has been established that in any filling station you must see no smoking, no phone calls. It is just the reason, it's just to prevent fire outbreak. It is just to prevent fire because prevention is better than cure. Let us go back to our lectures in a few minutes. We told you that spark can cause, you can generate heat from spark. So when you are receiving calls in a filling station, particularly multiple calls, I'm receiving my own call, you are receiving your own call. The radio waves which phone works with, through that we can generate heat. And when heat mixed with fuel, we are selling fuel in petrol stations. So when heat mixed with fuel, what will happen? Fire. That is why to prevent such, that's why fire safety worldwide, we don't allow petrol station. That's why we put them as a safety sign. They must have, it's a very good site for them to have a license from fire service, that they must have these signs in their various stations. No phone calls, no smoking, this and this. It's just for us to prevent fire. So don't let us wait that we have not recorded any case. No, we shouldn't wait till we record a case as regards fire break in the filling station caused through phone calls. We should prevent it. Prevention is the key. So to prevent spark, heat from radio wave through which the phone works with, that is why we disallow it, phone calls, use it on phone, particularly making calls, the filling station, sir.
Thank you, sir. Do you have anybody that have any question from the? Anybody with any question again? I have another question again, sir. When we approach the road safety, they tell us to bring out our fire extinguisher.
Hello.
You can tell us that the fire extinguisher has expired. Sometimes they tell you, you do not use that fire extinguisher. They tell you that the fire extinguisher has been used, that it is no longer valid or something. And they also had that fire extinguisher can be serviced. There is service that we not like to do on it and like that. Let's get more light on that.
Now, in this clan, what we do is that we have fire extinguisher in our vehicles just because we don't want police, we don't want road safety, VIO, and others, and traffic enforcement agency to harass us or to disturb us. Most of us, that's primary purpose of having extinguisher in our vehicles. But beyond that, having fire extinguisher in your vehicle, somebody that bought a vehicle worth of 5 million, why can't you use just a few percent of that amount to secure your vehicle? Now, when you want to buy your fire extinguisher, please call on fire officer or any safety professional to do that for you, because they know the best. They know the best. This is Nigeria, where anything goes. Because of anything goes in the market syndrome. So when you want to buy your fire extinguisher, consult firefighters, consult fire safety professionals to do that for you. Now, to come back to your question, if you buy a fire extinguisher newly, you are expected to service the fire extinguisher at least a year. When you just bought it newly and you certify that this fire extinguisher is working and is in good condition, so after 1 year you need to service it. Now, from there you service it every 6 months. When you buy it newly, You wait for a year, then before you service it. Then after that, every 6 months, whether you use it or not, it's expected of you to take your fire extinguisher to fire service offices, or you call the attention of a fire safety expert to service it for you. Whether you use it or not, after 6 months, you give it to them, they will service it. Now, let me tell you this clue. As an expert, fire safety expert, if you buy extinguisher or you get extinguisher for someone, we will put a label on it that will make us to know when the last time the fire extinguisher was serviced and the last date it's going to be we need to be serviced. So that is why it is very important to engage the service of firefighters or fire safety professionals to get a fire extinguisher, so that they will do the necessary thing which will show to make us know when fire extinguisher will expire, when it will be due for next service. If you have done that, you will not wait for a road safety officer or police officer to come and tell you that this fire extinguisher has expired. No. If you have done the needful, you also you know by yourself that this thing has expired or not. Whether you use it or not, it calls for servicing. Whether it is used or not, it calls for servicing every 6 months.
Thank you, sir. That servicing of fire extinguisher, does it come at a cost? Or just walk into any fire service office and it's done for you free of charge?
Anyway, I would say the best thing is to go to fire service, walk into fire service, any fire service stations. If it will require them to change some components, literally, they will charge you because they will need to change some things for the servicing. But if you require just for them to do some minor things that will not cause them to maybe to repair or to replace any component, they will not charge you. They will do it for free. But if it requires that they are going to put some things in place, they might charge you for that, because you can't expect them to use service money to go and do that. So they have to charge you for that.
Thank you, sir. You said before we buy any fire extinguisher, we should contact our fire safety official.
Yes.
Does it mean that when we come to you, you can sell one to us, or you just recommend a particular brand to us to go and buy?
Contacting fire safety personnel or going to fire stations to get your fire extinguisher. It's not just that because they want to sell for you. No, their own intention is safety. So selling for you is not their own primary intention. Their intention is your own safety and safety of lives. So we may tell them, this is my peculiar condition, this is where I want to use it. I want to use it for my vehicles. I want to use it in my kitchen. I want to use it in my living room. I want to use this and that. They will be the one to know and the type of fire extinguisher to recommend for you. So that is why it's very important to engage their services. So it's not that it is necessarily that they want to help you to buy it. No. But if you tell them that you want to do this and you explain to them yourself to them, they will recommend for you. It's just like when you go to hospital, doctor will tell you that don't use any drug without doctor recommendation. So don't buy any fire extinguisher without fire safety or firefighter recommendation, because they are the one that will know the type of extinguisher that will work best for your own peculiar situation. That is why it is good to engage their service when you want to, or you contact them when you want to get a fire extinguisher.
To make this happen, really appreciate it so much. I believe in the future when we come to you again, we'll be very glad to welcome with us and to focus more on this, because later in the future we are planning that we take this on a physical level, in which we be moving from one location to the other. We believe it's the right thing again for your services you render it to us. We really appreciate you, and on behalf of everybody at home from their various locations, we really appreciate you and thank you so much. Thank you so much. So this will bring us to the end of today's webinar. We'll meet you next time, next month again. Thank you all. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well done.
Bye-bye.
Let me hear what. gosh.